All right, so hi, good evening. I'm going to start today's class. Well, these first minutes are going to be for reviewing something and try to, say things that are going to be useful for you so that you can practice a little bit more or just remember something. For example, I want to go to the TOEFL organization once again. You know how this works, but I'm going to review the things that we were saying on Monday. All right? Yes, it was Monday. Remember that we have 4 steps, right? The first one is going to be like the introduction, step one. The step two is going to be describing the first benefit. The third step is going to be describing the second benefit. And the last step, right, step number 4, is going to be to give a conclusion. Those steps can be done, all right, in a certain, let's say, amount of time. I told you, right, from 1 to 10 or 12. So we're going to try to be even more precise and exact here so that you have time to develop even more ideas. So step 1 is going to be the first 10 seconds. Remember, you show your decision, you describe, or oh, sorry, you don't describe, you only mention, right, the benefits that you are going to describe in the body. So you describe the 2 benefits, and that's it. So you can say, I prefer this, right? Or I agree with this. You can use many expressions. It depends on the question, right? So I agree with this, I agree with that, I prefer this, I prefer that, because since as this benefit, right? Because it's more important and also it is more comfortable, right? Any of the choices that I may have a, let's say, yes, a benefit like that. You can say because it's important, because it's comfortable. You may say because it's the best time to do it, because I like it, or because I don't know, other benefits that come to your mind. In this case, I'm going to try to keep some other benefits because it's cheaper. You can say, right? Again, it depends on the idea, on the question that you have, but you may mention 2 benefits, right? That's the minimum, and that's the expected, because mentioning more, it's going to be like kind of hard for you to handle. It's not advisable to mention more than those 2 benefits and give details, right? And go deeper into those 2 benefits. So again, the first 10 seconds are going to be to say, I prefer this option because of this benefit and this benefit. That's it, right? The first 10 seconds. Then from that second, right, let's say the 11th to the 25th, you're going to talk about the first benefit. It was very important. So first, we have to say that it is very important you give a reason, because for since this reason, and or, right, and or, not the 2 of them if you don't have the time, but at least one of them or the 2 of them if you have the ideas in a clear way. Because of this, for example, in fact, right, I read this article that says the following about that benefit, period. So you have more or less, all right, we're going to take into account as 15 seconds to talk about the first benefit and describe the first benefit. It's going to be the same idea with the next one. The step number 3 is going to be for the second benefit, and it's the same logic. Also, or secondly, right? Secondly, because it's more comfortable, because of this, since this, an example, right? And or an example. And finally, you have the short conclusion that is going to be a very short expression, something like, and that's why, because of all those reasons, due to all that information, blah, 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 right? That's from second 40th to 45th, right? So you have that structure, more or less. We were doing something similar on Monday, but this time we're going to try to be more precise, at least in this part, step 2 and 3, because on Monday, they were part of the same amount of time that we said, right? So it was 10 seconds from 12 seconds for the introduction. Then you had all that time until second 38 or 39 for the body and 5 seconds for the conclusion, right? The difference is that now we have to practice dividing the two benefits so that they are going to be balanced, right? More or less. Of course, it's going to be very hard to do it with this precision, right? With this accuracy. I mean, 15 seconds is not going to be possible all the time. But at least you're going to have a better idea of how you can balance the things you're going to say and that your presentation, right, your response is going to be better organized. Okay, so that's a review, adding that information. I may repeat a little bit about the time, but that's it. Then we were taking a look at this. This is also something we covered, so I can review this one here. The two first steps, right, and some tips. You have some connectors, transitional words and phrases that you can use. To give reasons, right, you may use for, because, as, since. To add information, right, and add the second benefit in introduction, for example, or later on, you may use and, additionally, besides, also. For steps 2 and 3, you can use these transitional words or phrases, these connectors, first, firstly, to start with, to commence, right? You introduce the first benefit. Second, secondly, afterwards, following to that. Moreover, to continue, to introduce the second benefit, right? That's the second part of the body. To give reason, you know, it's the same as in the introduction. And to give examples, for example, as a matter of fact, in fact, to illustrate, to mention, right, the example or the fact that you want to keep. Okay, so that is very important to take into account so that you can organize your presentations in a better way, right? And then we have some other tips that we're going to read today that are going to help us work with the conclusion. But the main ideas are over here, right? The words, the transitional words and phrases, the connectors, and so on. The idea is that you can use these resources so that you can organize your ideas in a better way. You have a better time management, but also your vocabulary, all right, is, yes, you have a variety in your vocabulary. You may vary over there, and that's going to help you as well with the image that you're going to have, all right, when you are giving that response. With that said, I'm going to take advantage that you are here, Carolina, to work the words with you, okay? Because if not, we're not going to have any time to do this. And let's take advantage of this time with you. I'm going with these words.
Okay, teacher, good evening.
All right, hey, good evening, Carolina. So let's begin with these words so that we can get rid of them. Read first the ones that are on the left, that are pronunciation. Read those words, please, and if they are correct, we're going to delete them. Okay, begin, please.
Okay, teacher. Public.
Very good.
Profile.
Great.
80%.
Okay.
Media networks.
Great.
Entities.
Okay. This one.
Automatically.
Okay. The next one, please.
Comfortable.
All right. This one over here.
Wikipedia.
Great. And this one.
Events.
All right. Very good. So only these ones, again, automatically was good. It's only there because it was yellow. Now it is green, right? Now it is green. But let's remember these other ones a little bit. This is not that bad, but I'm going to turn this green. It was not that bad. But remember for the next one, try to omit that for and only say comfortable, right? Comfortable. Let's repeat that one, please, Carolina.
Okay, teacher. Comfortable.
And try, it's noticeable that you're using the O because you're putting too much emphasis on that O. Only like if it's like a passage word, like comfortable. The most important parts need to be the following, Carolina. The first comft and then bowl. Comfortable, comfortable. Let's try it, please.
Okay, teacher. Comfortable.
Good. Great. It sounds different, but it's better if that O has less stress and you put more stress in the first and the last part. Good. And this one, remember, the big word is entity. But when it's plural, it's not going to change that to I. It's going to be E only. Entities, right? Entities. One entity, two entities in that sense. All right. So let's repeat that one, please.
Okay. Entities.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's try with these ones, please, Carolina. Tell me why they were incorrect or what happened to them.
Okay, teacher. Well, good night was wrong because it's better to use good evening because good night we use when we say goodbye.
Okay, good.
Then you can share what you are thinking. It was wrong, the order. It was better to put, you can share what you are thinking, I think.
Correct, exactly right, because this is incorrect. If you say, are you thinking? Incorrect, right? Good.
And then the next was similar to the previous because it was an embedded question. So it has to be, could be how it works.
Correct.
Then the preposition in Facebook, it was wrong. I think it was on Facebook.
Good.
And then it was also the order and the expression impress was wrong. It was better to say companies and the order of the sentence.
Okay, very good. Exactly right. These companies, these enterprises, good. This one?
It was the preposition that is on YouTube. I think it was wrong.
All right.
Then it was the expression to those kind of contents. I think contents was wrong.
Okay, and what could be the good way of saying that one, Carolina? Instead of those kinds of contents, what can you say?
Maybe those topics. I think a kind of contents. It was wrong.
Good, and it's correct. You're telling me good. I'm going to delete this one, but remember, it's better if you only keep that as an abstract idea and you say that type of content, right? And only as singular, but you're referring to a group. Okay, good. What about this one?
It was wrong to say money. I think it's just to receive with two to receive, and the expression was wrong.
Okay, good.
Then I think I'm not sure about that teacher answer you. I think it is better to respond.
Okay, you can say reply someone, respond, that's also good. But when you say ask someone or give an answer to someone, so in that context that you were using, Carolina, because of that context, you needed to use the preposition answer to you, all right? Give an answer to you. So you need the preposition to over there, all right? In that context that you were given the example. What about this one?
Okay, teacher. And it was wrong, punctuate. It's better to say to rate with the stars.
Okay, good. This one?
Then in another countries was wrong. Another, it is better to say other countries, just other. And the last one, phenomenon was wrong. I think it was phenomenon. And it was one way more, but I remember that.
Phenomenal. Okay, it's good. It's enough with that one, Carolina. Thank you very much. Good. So we're very good. We're about to finish everything. So the next one, we're going to check those ones and the new words as well. We're going to spend one of the conversations to work this with you, with all of you. All right, so great. Let me copy and paste it. If you have any questions,
Teacher?
let me know, please.
Yes, teacher, it
Yeah.
was about tomorrow. I recently, well, I didn't send the letter yet because I was with a lot of activities in the school for the trip of tomorrow. As it an emergency, I couldn't organize it really good, but I'm preparing the letter. So I will want to know if tomorrow I can give my presentation. Please, teacher.
Yes, just send that letter. I know that it's not going to be a problem, but send that letter to make that formal, and you're going to have the presentation tomorrow, but it's important that you send that information to management. All
Yes,
right?
teacher. I'm going to
Okay.
send it right now. And
Okay.
so I'm going also to prepare my presentation for tomorrow.
Okay, good. Very good, Carolina. Thank
Thank
you.
you, teacher.
You're welcome. And also, now that you're talking about that, and I know Stephanie is not going to be able to participate today, okay, but I'm going to do that because she reminded me something very important that I mentioned before, but I didn't give you the details. Remember, okay, we're going to continue with this later on. Friday is the oral presentation, and this oral presentation, it's a little bit different because if you were on Monday and even on Friday, I told you that this presentation was going to be a little bit different. Why? Because you're going to use the structure of the TOEFL, right? And as we always do, first we're going to read very briefly what are going to be the criteria for this. Okay, so for this Friday's presentations, you are going to be evaluated on the pronunciation as always, the same, right? Vocabulary, conjugation, and structures, the same. But this one is different, organizing. So you're going to help me out with this one, please. Majo, you're going to read these things that I'm going to select for you, please. The explanation over there, the first part, and the last part. Okay, let's read it, please.
Okay, teacher. Organization. The student organizes. Teacher, how can I pronounce organizes?
So this is organizing, and this is going to be organizes.
Organizes. Okay. The student organizes their presentation with the structure learned in the class. Excellent. The student's presentation has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion with all their requirements. Needs to improve. The student's presentation doesn't have the parts of learning structure, or the structure is too confusing.
Thank you very much, Majo. So what is the structure that I'm talking about? Is what we learned on Monday for your short answers, the TOEFL structure. Remember, what is that structure? If I show you this over here, then we're going to go back to this one, but let me show you to you. It's this one. The first part is the introduction, in which you're asking one question and you're telling me your decision, and you are mentioning benefits. That's the introduction. In the body, you talk about the benefits. You give reasons and you give examples. That is the body. And the last step is the conclusion, restating your idea. So you're going to do exactly the same for Friday's presentations. In case of Carolina, she's going to do it for tomorrow, in the sense that you need to follow this structure. And to be more precise, I'm going to show you the following. It's over here, this one. No, sorry, it was this one. This over here. Let me show this to you. So in your presentations, you need to show me these elements, right? First, you have to ask yourselves one question, all right, to choose between those options. So for example, you can say, which one is better, right? Online classes, or I don't know, right? Face-to-face classes, on-campus classes, right? And you have to answer immediately. right? For example, there, which one is better, to run every morning or to go to the gym? That's one example. You need to show me the question, all right? That's one of the requirements. If you don't have that requirement, you are going to have like one requirement less as part of the introduction, and that's going to, well, be part of the score. You have to answer that question. So with a short explanation. Why? Because the big explanation is going to be in the body. So you can say, I believe, right? Or personally, or in my opinion, running every morning is better because of this and that. And you can mention the benefits, as in the TOEFL, right? Mention the benefits that you'll develop later on. So as remember, this is not 45 seconds, this is 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. As this is 10 minutes, you're not going to mention only 2 benefits. You can do it if you want, but remember that you have to use the 10 minutes. So you have to give me then a lot of detail about those 2 benefits. If you're going to do it, great. That's what I'm not telling you how many benefits you need. No, the benefits that you want, but take into account that you need 10 minutes. All right, so my recommendation, because I saw how some of your previous partners perhaps, all right, or students who took this course did it, my advice is try to have a minimum of 5 benefits. Okay, a minimum, because if you only have 2, you need to be, let's say, all right, more detailed about those benefits, and sometimes it's hard and you can get lost on that. Okay, so that's the introduction. You need 1 question with 2 options. You need to answer that question in the introduction, selecting one of the options, give me a short explanation, and mention, don't describe, mention the benefits. If you don't mention the benefits and you go directly to the body and you talk about those benefits, then you are not following one of those requirements, all right? Then you have the body over here. And the body, in other words, you have to develop all those benefits. It says, right, explain all the benefits in detail. There's an S that is not over there, right? We don't need that S. You have to contrast. This is not perhaps something that you have to do, but it's one idea. The 2 ideas that you have, right? Running every morning or going to the gym. So you can give me a contrast between those 2 that you showed at the beginning. And of course, you need to show examples and facts related to those options. And finally, the conclusion, right? In the conclusion, you summarize all the previous information. You mention once again why you still believe that your option was the best, because you have to be sure, you have to be certain that your option is the best, right, for you. And you finish the presentation. Okay, this is the structure. Do you have any questions? Let me know, please. It's important that we follow these steps. And again, if you realize, this is the way we are practicing with the TOEFL, but it's applied in a bigger scale because we need 10 minutes of presentation here. Okay, Melanie, let me know what your question or doubt is, please.
Well, to be honest, I already made my presentation and I didn't do this way. I just followed the same structure that I was doing before. And I am right now thinking how I can change a little bit to follow the structure. And the only problem I think I have is in the first question. I'm going to talk about friendship. So I don't know if a question can be like, do you agree or do you believe in the friendship through the time or something like that? Or it's an incorrect question?
No, it's good. It's good. The 2 options, Melanie, and sorry, I had to show this before, you're right. But it's correct. You can do that, okay? Shortly, you can do that. Now, to explain a little bit more, the 2 options can be 2 concrete options, right? Which one is better, running or going to the gym? I don't know. Which one is better, this car or this car? Or you can do that one, Melanie. Do you agree or disagree with this one? Or do you believe in this? Yes or no? Yes, I believe because of this and that. And these are the reasons that I have to believe on that. Okay, so it's possible to do it. Okay, if you have any other questions, let me know.
No, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. So again, Melanie's comment and question, it's very, very good because you, as you can see, you have many other options. You can compare or write or ask yourselves not only about concrete, let's say, options, but you can ask yourself, do you agree or disagree with this idea? All right. Do you believe that this is like that? Yes, I believe, or no, I don't. But the idea behind this presentation, all right, is that you need to support your answer. You need to explain. In the introduction, just tell me what you're going to talk about in the body. In the body, describe everything with examples and facts. And in the conclusion, give me a short summary with all that information. All right? That's it. So remember again, 10 minutes to do this. And if you want to check this information, just in case, it's here. But let's finish with this one before showing you that one. So organizing, that's going to be 30. It means if you have your introduction with your question, with your answering the introduction, with a short explanation, and let's say with an index, right, quotation marks, it means with the list of benefits or reasons that you're going to develop in the body, then you have that part, okay? You have 10 points, let's say, out of the 30. If in the body you're describing all the benefits or the reasons, you are perhaps contrasting in a certain way with the other answer, and you are giving examples and facts, you are good. You have 10 more points, right? 20 out of 30. And finally, in the conclusion, if you have one conclusion in which you are summarizing the previous information and you are restating the idea that you still agree with your option, right? Because it was the best. And you finish the presentation over there, right? You have 10 more points, and that's the 30. Okay, so that's the way you can assure that you are going to have the 30 points over here. Again, if you have any questions, just raise your hand and you can ask. And finally, as before, right, you have asking and answering questions, the same. 3 questions to ask, 3 questions to answer, that's 20 in total. And time management, the same logic. Remember, it's not only when the presentation is shorter, it's also when it's longer that it can affect your score. The ideal is to have 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 30 seconds, or 10 minutes and 30 seconds. If you have more or less than that, it's going to affect the score negatively, all right? Because of many reasons. The first, I don't want this to be shorter because I want you to explain many things and I want to see how you paraphrase. And the second reason, I don't want this to be longer because you have more partners that are going to be working on their presentations and you have a set of questions and so on. And lastly, to add something else, because again, time management is very important in any test and in any kind of situation. So it's a good idea to practice that. That's it. That's how we are going to score your oral presentations on Friday. So time management, 20, answering and asking questions, 20, organizing, writing introduction, body, conclusion in the way I explained to you, 30, vocabulary, conjugation, 15 maximum, and pronunciation, 15. That's it. And the thing I wanted to show you is the following. If you want to be sure that you have everything, everything is in the description. You have the important, and down below you have the time that you need and the structure. Here is the introduction, everything that you need in the introduction, the body, right? Again, everything that you need over there, and the conclusion, right? And down below the criteria to get the 100 points. And again, that's it. It was very important to mention those elements. The in-class activities are evaluated in the same way we did it in the first week, on the second week. Do you have any questions or comments before going to the practice? Let me know, please. Okay, so let's practice once again with the TOEFL structure, because this is what you're going to do in your oral presentations, but again, with a longer time. This is the presentation. Let me close this one over here. As a reminder, I was explaining this at the beginning of the class, but I'm going to do it shortly now. The introduction is going to be 10 seconds, all right? We're going to try to do that in order to have more time for the body. If I say 12, it's better to have something, right? More like clearer, let's say. 10 seconds, the introduction. Only your option and the two benefits, right? I prefer this because of this and that, right? I agree with this since this and that. That's it. Then first step, for the first reason, you're going to spend more or less 15 seconds, more or less. That's why I'm saying from the 11th second to the 25th second. Only the first benefit with the supporting idea and the example, if you have one example. From second 25, right, to 39, it's going to be the second benefit with, again, one reason or one example that you may develop over there. And the last 5 seconds are going to be for you to give me a short conclusion. Something like, that's why I believe that this is the best idea, and period. Okay, so that's the way we need to organize in these presentations, all right, the answer that we're going to give. Not all of you uploaded the previous recordings over here. I'm going to show you. All right, so I have 2 attachments from Carolina. Good, so we have the 2 answers. I have 2 from Majo. Okay, so I have the 2 over there. I know, Melanie, so I'm going to send to the class again so that you can watch and complete the first one. All right, so that you have the first recording as well. And Estefania, I'm missing yours as well, because we need 2 in total, right? So I'm showing you that one. Be sure that you have all the recordings to, right, have the perfect score in case you want it. Before checking, because I'm just, all right, talking too much now, I want you to practice. So let's work with one question, record that question, upload it, but I'm going to try to check, all right, some of your recordings. I only checked the second recording from Melanie, right? So I may check yours, Carolina, Majo, and Stefania, if you upload that one as well. I know that today you're not going to participate, but later on, remember to upload that. Okay, so let's begin. Again, the first question is going to be only trying to follow those times. And I'm going to give you this over here. It's going to be big. So this is going to be just a reminder, all right, of what you need to do and how you need to organize your answer. Remember, introduction, that's the time, the first benefit, the second benefit, and the conclusion. You're going to have that over there so that you remember. The question is going to be the following. Let's try to select one together. Okay. Again, always trying to select between 2 things so that you can support the idea for one of them. Let's start with something not that hard. And let's use this one, all right? This is something that you were talking about, and I know that you have some ideas behind it. Do you prefer to work from home using a computer or go to your job location? Provide specific details to support your explanation, right? That's number 6 over there. Let me try to do this and that. Okay, so one more time. Do you prefer to work from home using a computer or to go to your job location? Provide specific details to support your explanation. So please, Majo, Carolina, Melanie, get ready. You're going to need something to record your answers. First, I'm going to give you 15 seconds, and even you're thinking now, okay? But you have 15 seconds to think of first, your choice, second, the first benefit, third, the second benefit, and fourth, one example or idea. Let's begin now, please. 15 seconds to think. Okay, now get ready again. You need something to record, please. And again, it's better if you can upload that recording right now, because I'm going to give you my feedback. All right, and that's going to be very important so that we can keep improving, all right, our skills related to this structure. 45 seconds, right? And remember, take this into account. First 10 seconds for the introduction, the first benefit 15 seconds, the second benefit 15 seconds more or less, and the conclusion 5 seconds. That's more or less the way we divide this, okay? 10, 15, 15, 5. 10, 15, 15, 5. Carolina, what questions or comments do you have? Let me know, please.
Sorry, teacher, could you move just a little the timer in the way that we can see the question, please?
Oh, yes, of course. Don't worry,
teacher.
I'm going to take this. You're welcome. So let me take that over there. Let's say, where can I put this one? Okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, this is going to be the question, and this one, I don't know why I cannot make this smaller. There you go. Okay, so let's begin. One more time, I'm going to read the question and let's begin. I'm going to stop at second 45. You do it as well. I'm going to stay quiet 10 more seconds, but just because you may start afterwards. But remember, only 45 seconds. If you use more time, it's not correct. Okay? So the question, do you prefer to work from home using a computer or to go to your job location? Provide specific details to support your explanation. You have 45 seconds to support your ideas. You may begin now, please. All right. So I imagine that you have that over there, right? You had more time. 45 seconds. Again, even though I tried to show you this with my timer because of the internet, right, and the lag that we have, it's not possible to do it. So you have to be attentive, all right? And you need to pay attention to your own timers and be sure that you are following those instructions, right? The main one, time, right? 45 seconds. That's it. Upload it now, please. Go to Google Classroom. Remember, Unit 3 in class activities, right? It has to be on that part. Let me go over there again, right? Classwork, go to Unit 3, TOEFL practice and structure, upload your third week in class activities. There's where I need you to have your recordings. Melanie, let me know, please, what's your question or comment?
Teacher, I have 48 seconds, so I need to record the audio in order to upload it in the activity, right?
Okay, yeah, that's one option. If you want to avoid that, right, lacking following that instructions, you can cut out, right, those 3 extra seconds to only have 45. Right now, if you want, Melanie, you can upload it now so that you can do it and I can check your recordings. And later on, you can cut that out and upload that again.
Okay.
Okay, good. Great, so let's check again. I'm going to try to check now that we're here, the second one and also this one. Okay, it's going to be very important to do it. This is the second I didn't check yours, Carolina, so I'm going to do it now. It's the same thing, right? It's the same structure, so let's do it. And there you go. I'm going to play. It's not with the sound. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the sound also. Okay, now it's done. Let's listen. I'm going to give you, in the second one, only general feedback. Okay, only general feedback for the second one, Carolina. Let's listen.
I think it's better to buy a new car than to use a used car.
Okay, it's good. Just the word buy, right, was a little bit mispronounced, but it's good. It's better to buy a used car. Again, you have the option of only mentioning the one thing that you're selecting. But if you are speaking, all right, fast, and you have the time, you can mention whatever you want. Okay, so I think here you're at a very good pace. So it's not going to be a problem that you mentioned the two things. But again, just in case, if you're going to use more than 12 seconds, then you may not do that. Let's see.
I think this is better because sometimes cheap could be expensive and a new car have more advantages. First,
okay, good. So you have two. It's not bad. It's second 14, and you mentioned two things, which is good. Also, you're trying to use different vocabulary, and also it's perfect. But again, in order to have more time to develop our ideas, you can do it this way. Again, this is one way of working. This is only one strategy. There is no thing that you say, right? Again, this is for the TOEFL and it's only this way and period. No, right? If that works for you, Carolina, it's perfect, all right? But for this strategy, my recommendation is to try to have less time for the introduction, to try to use less words, like for example, not mentioning the other options if it's not necessary to do it, and try to mention those two benefits in a shorter way. Okay, we're going to see the impact. If we see that you don't have that much time to develop your two advantages or your two benefits, and your conclusion is not in the 5 last seconds, perhaps you may need to reduce the first time. Okay, so it depends again on how it's going to continue.
First of all, we usually use things that have some problems, so this could be more expensive than buy a new one.
Okay, good. My recommendation, again, I know that it's because we are improvising everything at that moment, right? It's hard for anybody, even if you're doing this in Spanish, okay? If someone asks you to do this in Spanish, you're also going to have some problems in a certain way because you are just letting everything flow, all right? So I know it's not the language barrier every time, but it's also the pressure, the time, and all those details. So, and it may result, all right, in being more expensive. You may say something like that. Let's listen to that once again.
This could be more expensive than buy a new one. So this could be more expensive than buy.
Okay, so my recommendation is saying something like that decision may result, right, in being more expensive than buying, if you're using gerund at the beginning, also over there, than buying something new. Okay, so result, some expressions. That was the first one. We're in second 25. I think we're good.
A new one. Second, I think a new car have more advantages because.
Okay, a new car has, right? A new car, or buying a new car, because we're talking about buying, but you can also mention which is a new car, but has, right? Buying a new car or a new car has more advantages.
Because at the moment that you buy a new one, you have a new secure. If you crash it, you have the other things that are new, so you are sure that are not bad.
Okay, I think the reasons are good, they are acceptable. You may organize that a little bit different, but I understand that idea over there. And we're second 41, we're not that bad. Okay, actually we're good.
So for all of those reasons, I think it's better to have a new car.
Okay, good. I think at the end, even if you used the first 14 seconds for the introduction, it reduced a little bit the first explanation in a certain way. But even though that was the case, it was possible to do it, all right? You used less time for the first advantage or benefit than for the second one. but it was good. Again, I would say that it's okay. Just my recommendation again, if you feel that you're using too much time in the introduction and not giving too much detail that it may be needed, try to change that one. Those expressions and that conjugation, that's the only thing, Carolina. I don't know if you have any questions about that.
No,
All
teacher,
right.
it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. And also taking advantage, I'm going to also listen to the third one. Let's do it now. And then we're going to go to one of your partners. There you go.
I prefer to work from my home using a computer than go to my job location. I think it's better to work from our homes because in your home you feel more comfortable, so you can.
Okay, so over there, again, it's not incorrect. Again, the structure, I'm going to repeat that one. It can be any structure you want, but in this one, it's like you only told us, right, your decision, and then you are starting like talking about the benefits, but it feels that you started with the body. All right. Again, to follow this structure, let's try to mention the benefits at the beginning in the first seconds, and then let's try to develop those two benefits in the body. All right. Because again, let's go over there.
Go to my job location. I think.
Right. Again, you mentioned the two of them. It's not incorrect. Again, as far as you can mention everything at the beginning.
I think it's better to work from our homes because in your home you feel more comfortable.
Okay, so you're repeating the first idea again. That can be a good idea, but sometimes it's not adding anything that is of importance, let's say. All right, and that can be valuable time that you can use in a different kind of explanation or examples.
So you can work better. Also,
Good. So that was the first benefit, right? So it was something like you mentioned, you gave us the answer, but you didn't tell us, right, what the benefits that you're going to develop are going to be. You didn't tell us that, and you skipped directly to the body, and you started mentioning once again your option, and then you complement that idea with the first benefit, and now you're talking about the second one.
I think it is a good option work from our homes because the internet it's better. While in a job location, you can receive some cuts.
Okay, right. You may have some problems, right, with the connection. You may say that one, right? The connection is not that good, and you may have some problems. Okay, good. And again, I think you are able to organize your ideas in a very good and interesting way. But I believe that a lot of that time that you're using, because you are doing something interesting, Carolina, but you can use that time better. Okay, you may use that time instead of repeating again the idea, right? Because you did it two times, that your decision in the first explanation of the first benefit and in the second part, also you did it again. So you may say directly, right? And I also believe that this is one benefit, directly the benefit. In that way, I think that the way you're doing it is going to give you time to give even some examples. And that's going to be very, very important to get a higher score in these sections of the TOEFL. All right, why? Because you are showing more and more elements to this, and it's going to show again the instructor or the examiner that you have, okay, good knowledge about the language, and you have time management, and you have a lot of vocabulary, right? And a lot of those details that they check when they listen to your answers and they give you the score. All right, so try to use that time again in the beginning. Instead of repeating the two, only one of them could be enough. Try to mention the two things you're going to talk about in the body, and in the body, instead of repeating the answer one more time, try to only mention the benefit, directly the benefit, so that you have time to, besides working with that reason, give some example, right? Or some examples related to your personal experiences or related to a fact that you want to mention from an article or something that you know. And finally, okay, I'm going to refresh this one, but that's more or less the idea. I think you're going to have the conclusion over here. I don't know if you have any questions so far, Carolina, about this last feedback. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, thank you so much. I'm going to reorganize my ideas. Thank you.
Okay, no, you're very welcome. Again, you're using the time in an interesting way because you are getting to say everything, and that's great. That's something that many people cannot do, but you're doing it without problems, all right? So that's very positive. My only advice, again, is try to use that time, all right, for other things as examples and even extra information. That's the only thing. So let's go to the last part.
And I think it's better to work from our homes for that reasons.
Okay, because if you realize, and again, that was a good conclusion, it's enough to restate your option, Carolina, only in the introduction, say it once, and in the conclusion. Why? Because here you did it like 3 times. You mentioned once in the introduction, you mentioned that once again in the first benefit, in the second benefit, and then in the conclusion, right? So again, you can use that time using those words for a different thing. And that's it, all right? You already told me that one, so very good. Let's go now with you. You're welcome. Majo, that was the morning one. This is the car. Okay, let's listen to this one. This is the last one. Let's take a look at it.
It's better to purchase a new car because we know how the car is in condition and because the concessionaire assures us that it has new and original parts from the car factory.
Okay, 14 seconds, and it's not bad. And yes, you were asking that one, right? But I think you had the answer. Concessionary goods, the concessionary. Also, they call that the dealership. Okay, dealership concessionary goods. 14 is not bad again. It's going to depend on the rest of the information, Majo. If you got to organize your benefits in a good time and you got to say everything correctly, then it's no problem that you use 14 seconds. But if there's going to be a problem, perhaps you can mention the first part in a shorter way. But let's take a look, all right? So far, I have no big observations. You have your decision and you have the 2 benefits.
I think it's better to spend a little more, but make sure that the car is in good condition, that it has all the new and original parts and accessories too, and that you are the first owner.
Okay, good. Now, the thing about this one, it's okay, but it feels that you are adding more benefits instead of developing the first benefit, all right? And again, this is a different approach, can be okay, but the thing about this one is that the answer is going to be superficial because you're going to only mention that one, but you are not going to support those benefits with some extra information, with some reasons, and with some examples. Let's keep going.
Also, because of the secure that comes if it is purchased from the factory. That is why I choose that option, so as not to spend on mechanics and maintenance.
All right, so let's go back a little bit. You had the conclusion again. I think the hardest part is something that you're doing very good. It was Carolina, now you, Majo. You're getting to finish everything on time. Again, okay, that's very positive. But my idea here would be the transition could be, because I feel that you are keeping describing more benefits, but I don't feel the transition between your introduction and then when you're going to go deeper into one thing. Let's go again to this part.
Assure us that it has new and original parts from the car factory. I think it's better.
Right, you have that one, but you keep adding things. So my advice over there, try to use a transitional word, all right, or a connector that make us understand in a better way that now you're going to start with a different part of your answer. All right, in this case, you're going to start with the body, giving details about one of the benefits. Just to be sure, I'm going to listen to the 2 benefits and we're going to see if you're describing those 2 benefits.
The car is in condition.
All right, so you can say if the car is in good condition, That's one. All right. The car is in good condition, let's say.
And because the concessionaire assures us that it has new and original parts.
Okay, good condition, sorry, and original parts. All right, new and original parts, and that's valid. Those are your two benefits. Let's see how you approach it once again, because I want to be sure that we are going deeper in this.
From the car factory. I think it's better to spend a little more, but make sure that the car is in good condition.
Okay, you're mentioning that one. It's good. But actually there, you're not giving a reason, but you're saying, right, it's worth spending more time, more money, sorry, right? More money doing that. It's good, but that's not supporting your idea, right? You're saying it's worth paying more.
That it has all the new and original parts.
Right, and new and original parts. But if you realize you are not adding reasons or information, you repeated the two things, right? The good condition and new and original parts. It's not bad, but you are not giving us more reasons or examples related to that.
And accessories too. And that you are the first owner.
Okay, that's new one, but it feels like something else. I mean, it's obvious that, and I understand that one, that can be related to the new parts, right? Original parts. But to be the first owner can be a different benefit. So it's not sure which one it's supporting or what's supporting.
Also, because
okay, I'm going to refresh that one. But again, in general, that's my feedback, Majo. You have very interesting approach. The introduction was correct, a little bit longer, but it was correct. But in the development, instead of adding reasons or giving examples or information to support that idea, you kind of repeated the same two things and added one extra thing, one word that was accessories, and one thing that was to be the first owner, right? That's not going to be enough. Again, it's good, but in that time, try to say more things about good condition, right? Why is it a good idea to be sure that it's in a good condition? Why is it a good idea to be sure that it's going to be or have the original parts? In the last part, I think you mentioned something, right, about the mechanic. Let's try to go over there.
my sleep schedule.
Ah, sorry, this one over here. Okay.
That comes if it is purchased from the factory.
Mm-hmm. So that development, all right, felt like you were restating the introduction, and let's listen now to the conclusion.
That is why I choose that option, so as not to spend on mechanics and maintenance.
Okay, good. So that thing that you did in the conclusion, Majo, is better if you mention those details in the development, all right? Because talking about the mechanic and maintenance are supporting ideas for your thing, but you gave us that conclusion, but actually in the conclusion is only to summarize something that you mentioned before, right? But you didn't talk about mechanics or maintenance. It can be obvious, but it's better if you can locate that in the body and develop a little bit more about mechanics, right? And you can say, because we are going to need to, if it's not in a good condition and if it doesn't have, right, the original parts, we would need to go to the mechanic and we would need to, I don't know, look for this and that, and it's going to be more expensive. So try to support that idea in that way. I don't know if you have any questions about these observations or comments, Majo. Let me know.
No, teacher, anything. And home is the activity for today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Majo. Let's see. Okay, let's do it. This is going to be a short one. Let's take a look at this one as well. I think it's worth listening. It's going to be interesting for everybody. And the last two activities are going to be only recorded.
I prefer to work at home because if I use my computer in my home, I am more comfortable, saving my time and my money on gas or...
Okay, good. Again, it's good, but the introduction is too long. But you're giving good reasons, good benefits, right? First, because it's more comfortable, then because you're saving time. I would try to select only those two as your main benefits and then try to develop those benefits in the body, all right? You're giving more information, but it's still the introduction and it's getting too long.
Public transport, so I can eat at any time of the day. And
right, so my advice here is that you didn't have a transition between the introduction and the body, all right? And you're still giving more benefits, but you're not focusing on 2 at least. Why is it important to focus on only 2 or 3, let's say? Because you can give deeper information just because of that, all right? So my advice in this one, try to have the introduction with only 2, or if you want, 3 benefits, but stop it there and then start developing those benefits, but in a deeper way, right? First, I mentioned that it's more comfortable for me because I like to be at my home working from my couch, right? Eating what I want, and that's it, right? That's something that supports your idea. That's why you feel more comfortable. Secondly, I save money because, and you can explain what you were saying in the introduction, but it shouldn't go in the introduction. It should go in the development in the body. Secondly, because I save money, right? Due to the fact that I don't have to use transportation, right? I don't have to do this and that, and I can use that money to buy other things that are better for me, right? And that's the way you can organize that. But in the body,
because I am not exposed to any disease and traffic stress.
Good. And that's like another benefit, right? And it's good. You have good reasons over there.
I choose to work at home because for me it's much more comfortable to work at my time and at my rate, and also taking care of my little sister too.
Okay, good. And again, it was missing just one short conclusion at the end, right? So this one is good. This one was very good as well, but the structure is not clear. All right, everything started from the beginning and it continued until the end. You have very good benefits, very good reasons, very good information. You structured everything very well. The only thing missing here is, again, dividing the 3 parts of the structure and using some other connectors to make that division clearer. That's it related to this one, Majo. I don't know if you have any questions about this.
Anything, teacher, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going now with you, Majo. Oh, I'm sorry, Melanie. And I'm going to download this one. All right, the same idea, right?
Well, I prefer.
Okay, let's take a look at this and let's start again.
Well, I prefer to work from home because you can save money and also you can save time.
Okay, good, right? Good. We have that one again. And in the sense of following this structure, I think we work very well over there. We have the reason, right? The choice, and we have 2 benefits, right? Or 2 reasons, right? From home, because of saving time and saving money, right? 2 things.
To begin with, save money because.
Okay, and you have the transition to be clear, right? And to make understand the examiner that now you're going to start developing those ideas that you mentioned at the beginning, all right? That's the idea of having these transitional words and phrases, because you are showing that you're organized, that you're prepared, all right? And you had the time of thinking about those details.
You can avoid to use transportation, and maybe this is something that you spend a lot of money, depends on the location of your work.
Okay, good. You can avoid using, right? You can avoid using money because of this and that, all right?
And also you can eat in your home. Also, this depends if you go on lunch near your work. So that is also something. Moreover, save time because you are not stuck in traffic.
Okay, so the only thing there, I think we're doing very good. And this happens a lot, all right? It happens to me also. I spend too much time on the first reason, right? And the first benefit. And I give a lot of benefits and it's really interesting. And it's not bad. But the fact is that as we were able to mention 2 that are very good benefits, it's a good idea to give the same, let's say, importance, right? Amount of importance to both, and to make notice, right, the other person that we're organized and that we are using kind of the same time. Of course, it's never going to be 15 seconds, 15 seconds. It's going to vary, right? But it has to be a little bit more balanced. That's the only thing here, that the second reason seems to have very few time, all right, or very few seconds in comparison to the first one.
Jump all the mornings, and you can have more time to wake up, make your breakfast, and things like that.
All right, again, good. And you told me, right, you used more time, so that was perhaps the short introduction, the conclusion. So my only thing, Melanie, the introduction was very good. The transition between the introduction and the body was very good as well. You have very interesting supporting ideas, but the thing is, try to look a little bit more balanced, right, between the two benefits, and to have a short conclusion when you're getting to the 40th second. And that's it. I don't know if you have any questions or comments about that.
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And I think we're done, right? Yes, good. Let's keep working. We're going to practice. Okay, we're going to do 2 more questions. Now we're going to try to do the following, and this is going to be part, of course, of the in-class activities. This is the thing, all right? Remember, tips. You have some other words, right? So this time I'm going to, okay, I know what I'm going to do. Directly this, right? So I'm going to copy and paste this information over here. Okay, why? Because you're going to use specific words this time. In the introduction, right, you're only going to use since, let's say, or as, one of those, to give reason. All right, use those 2, please. Then, to add information, you're only going to use besides and also. All right, it's over there. I'm going to leave it that way. All right, reason to add information. Then, for the first steps, you're going to use only one of those 2. Okay. To start with or to commence. And actually, we don't need that one over here. That's going to create a little bit more confusion. So these are the specific words that you have to use to give reason, as, or since. To add information, right? I'm actually going to use only at. Use besides or also. The first benefit, right? The first benefit is going to be to start with. The second benefit, all right, is going to be with, sorry, let's say these 2 over here. These 2, all right, this one, and moreover, you use that one. That was very good. To continue and follow into that. Okay. Again, you have reason, right? So use the same for reason, only since and as. And to give examples, you're going to use these 2. In fact, and illustrate, or to illustrate. All right, that's for the examples. And finally, to give the conclusion, you don't have a lot of options, all right? So you're going to use any of these 2, all right? Because of all of that, I'm selecting this now, all right? So that you can practice with other expressions that you're not used to using. And in that way, again, it's going to be positive. Why? Because you're going to have new words, or you're going to be accustomed to using more expressions than the one you used before. And that's it. And it's going to be for the conclusion. Okay, that's it. So again, that's going to be over there. I'm going to close this one. This is what you have to do. We're going to work with 2 more questions now. We're not going to listen to that today. Perhaps we're going to do it next week, but you have to upload it. to have that score in the in-class activities. And Melanie, what questions do you have? Let me know, please.
The first, the reason and the at is part of the introduction, right?
Yes, correct. It's part of the introduction. But also, Melanie, you can use that as part of your benefits, right? Because of course you're going to add some information and you're going to give reasons. So this is part of the introduction, but you can use those two as part of developing your benefits as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Good. Now, again, then the logic is the following. Follow this time. Please, again, I know that you have different approaches. I know that you work perhaps in a different way, and it works. I'm sure that it works. But to follow these parameters, okay, as part of the instructions, be sure that you're following this structure that we are learning in class. Okay, I'm going to remind you this once again. In the introduction, give me your reason and the two benefits. Okay, 10 seconds. In the first benefit, give me, of course, reasons for that benefit and give me one example if you have the time. The second benefit, give me another reason and give me examples or one example for that benefit. And finally, give me the conclusion. Now, the thing is that you're going to be using these expressions to do that. So you're going to see, I prefer this since this benefit and that benefit, introduction. To start with, okay, you have to use one of these. To start with, this benefit, it's important since this. In fact, the example, that was the first benefit. The second part of the body. Following to that, right, it's also important to mention this as this reason to illustrate example. Period. In conclusion, right? And you're going to say, because of all that information, I believe that this choice is the best. And it's done. Okay, so use the words in that way. To give reasons, use these ones. To add information, use these two words. To start with the first benefit, use any of these two. With the second one, any of these two. Over here, we don't need a capital letter, right? For the example, those ones over there, and the conclusion, those ones over there. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're going to start now. We're going to work with two different questions now. Do you have any questions, comments? Let me know, please. Okay, Carolina, what is your question? Let me know.
Yes, teacher, it isn't about the topic. I just want to tell you that I already sent the letter, and she told me that is sent to a Gmail, and I also sent to the Gmail. So I think everything is okay, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, very good. No, you're welcome, and thanks for letting me know, Carolina. Then, if everything is formal and management, right, has that information, then it's going to be correct. And I'm going to be waiting for you tomorrow, right, at the time you scheduled and booked your private conversation so that you have your presentation there, okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Great, you're welcome. So let's work. 2 questions, and that's going to be part of your in-class activities, okay? One is going to be, again, kind of easy, and one is going to be a challenge because of the words that you may use. Let's take a look. All right, I'm choosing one now because I want this to be random. Let's use this one. This is interesting. This is not that hard because you have knowledge about this. It's not something, right, that it needs specific, very specific vocabulary, because you can mention common benefits, all right, very common benefits. 7, do you prefer to use battery-powered automobiles, or do you believe that gasoline-powered cars are still a good option? Right? Talking about the environment, talking about the future, right, of fuel. So illustrate your argument with reasons and supporting details. One more time. Do you prefer to use battery-powered automobiles, or do you prefer that, or do you believe that gasoline-powered cars are still a good option? illustrate your arguments with reasons and supporting details. So let's begin. We have 15 seconds to think of your choice, some benefits, and one example or idea, all right? Think, please, 15 seconds.
Teacher, can you move the chronometer, please?
All right, again, sorry about that one. I don't realize I'm doing that again. There you go. So you have that thought. Remember, follow this time. The introduction, you know what to mention in introduction, the first benefit, the second benefit, the conclusion. Use these expressions, please. All right, again, I'm not going to check now. I'm going to listen to this later. First, I'm going to listen myself to verify this. Remember, if you don't follow the instructions, that's going to affect the in-class activities. Try to use that time. Of course, I'm not going to be that strict, all right? 10 seconds, 10 seconds. It can vary, but try to follow that one, okay? Now, once again, do you prefer to use battery-powered automobiles, or do you believe that gasoline-powered cars are still a good option? Illustrate your argument with reasons and supporting details. So please, you have 45 seconds. Remember to stop 45 to give me those reasons and details. You may start now, please. All right, so it should be done. Again, I'm always going to give you more time because you don't follow specifically this time. All right, so 45 seconds. Upload it, please, to Unit 3 in class activities. So far we have with this one, is it 3, 4? I'm going to check. Let me see over here. All right, some of you have 3 already. So you have everything there. Upload that, please. And we're going to work with one more. All right. And over here, you're doing it. In the meantime, I'm going to look for this last one. And that's going to be, again, evaluated next to your vocabulary. Remember to upload your vocabulary. Also, please remember that that vocabulary needs the definition and the examples, right? It's very important to mention the examples. If not, that's going to reduce the score. Most of you are doing it, but just in case, remember to give examples as well after those words in the vocabulary. Then let's look for the last question that we're going to try to answer with this structure. All right. This can be interesting. But again, I want this to be kind of a challenge. But of course, it depends, right? All of you have different knowledge and different, let's say, vocabulary. So for you, may be easy as well. But something a little bit different that we were doing. Let me see over here. Okay, this one. This is something that we have not mentioned in a way before, because we were focusing on different kinds of topics. It's about food diet. So some prefer a diet with meat products as a main source of protein. However, others prefer to eat vegetarian foods without any meat. Which type of diets do you prefer? Give some specific details about, to support your response. Okay, that's the one. I'm going to put it down. So one more time. Some prefer a diet with meat products as a main source of protein. However, others prefer to eat vegetarian foods without any meat. Which type of diet do you prefer? Give some specific details to support your response. That's the one. Let's do the same. Keep using this structure. If you used since before, try to use as, or if you use both, again, try to use those two again. Try to vary a little bit with those two, but again, let's try to use only these words over here. You have now 15 seconds. Please, again, think of your answer and the benefits or reasons that you're going to mention. Let's begin, please. Okay, so that's the 15 seconds, right? Now you're going to have 45 seconds to record your answers. And again, I'm going to read this one last time. Let's do it. Some prefer a diet with meat products as a main source of protein. However, others prefer to eat vegetarian foods, right, without any meat. Which type of diet do you prefer? Give some specific details to support your response. So you have 45 seconds. Use this time, use this structure. You may start now, please. Okay, so it's done. We have those two over there. Please upload it as well so that you have all the recordings over here. Now, with this, actually, we are done. This was something just to give you this strategy. Again, this is something that you're going to do in case you are in the preparation course for the TOEFL. This is something specific that you may learn. The strategy may be a little bit different, all right? But if you believe that this strategy is going to be, okay, good for you to use it, do it. Because again, there are many strategies and you can get a very good score with many different strategies. All right, it's not that only one is going to work, of course not. But the idea is that you do this, okay? It doesn't matter what strategy you use to take the TOEFL, you have to take into account first time management. That's the most important part, that time management. If your 45-second answer is going to be cut out, you're not going to be able to finish in your, and because of this, and it's cut, right? Because you only have 45 seconds and it's done. So if you don't finish what you wanted to say, if it's like, and because of this, I want to do this and that, okay, faster than the other one, then it's going to be like, of course, you're not going to have the perfect score over there, all right? To have a very good score and to have the perfect score, not only in the TOEFL, but in many other international tests as well, you have to show that you manage time, okay? So be sure that you use those 45 seconds or that 1 minute or the time that you have in the exact time that you need to use, okay? And that's why it's important to divide. It's always a very good idea, not only for writing, but also for speaking in formal and academic situations and contexts, all right? To have a structure, to have a template, to follow that so that you are only focused on the ideas that you need to fill in those templates that you have, okay? And it's going to be easier to remember. And when you practice this a lot, it's going to be automatic, all right? And you're going to have one answer, the other one. It's going to be easier for you to do that. In these 7-8 minutes that we have, I want to check at least 2, but it's going to be with volunteers, or if not, I'm going to choose 2 randomly. Who wants to, all right, receive some feedback now about those answers? Let me know, please. You can raise your hand if you want. Okay, Carolina, let's begin with you. Let me check. Oh, yes, this was yours again. Let me refresh. So, which one do you want me to check? Select one, please. Number 4 or number 5?
Number 4, please, teacher.
Okay, there you go. Let's take a listen, all right? And let's analyze this together.
I think it's better to use battery-powered cars for 2 reasons. Because I think it helps with the environment, and because gasoline is a limited resource.
Okay, again, you have the structure, it's correct. You have your reason, your choice, and you have 2 benefits or 2 reasons, right? Good. Now, again, it's the 16th second. Again, it's not that it's bad that it's this way, but you may have used a lot of time for only the introduction. My recommendation is that perhaps you don't need to say because of these 2 reasons directly, right? To give you the example, I was structuring that way, but directly you may mention those reasons or those benefits. All right, that's the first thing. The other one, it is correct, but to give some variety, remember, it was a good idea to use one of these words to give reason. So you may, let me listen to this again. You may use since or as. Let's see how.
It helps with the environment.
So you can say, one more time. I want to listen to the option first.
I think it's better to use battery-powered cars.
Okay, so that's your option, right? I think, and it's good. I think, my opinion, it's better to use battery-powered cars.
For 2 reasons.
Okay, that you can omit that one, all right, for 2 reasons. It's interesting, it's important, and you're showing that you're organized, you're right. But if the next part is going to be reduced in time, perhaps we don't need that one.
Because
So you can say directly, I prefer, or it's better to use battery-powered cars since, all right, since.
I think it helps with the environment.
Okay, since it helps with the environment. That can be one option. And again, using since is not as common, and it gives the idea that, okay, you have more vocabulary because the big majority of the people in this test is going to say because. All right, so to stand out and to show that you know how to use other words, my advice here is to use since or as or for, but not in the sense of for 2 reasons. No, you can say, it's better to use battery-powered cars for it helps with the environment. Remember that you can use for to give reason, and it replaces because. All right, so you can use one of those. In this case, since could be very good.
And because gasoline are.
Right, and the same here. You can say and since, or you can use that since for the 2 ideas directly.
Is a limited resource.
Okay, Okay, so you have, again, very good elements over there, but it's kind of long now, it seems. We're going to see how it goes, and the recommendation with the words. Let's keep going.
To begin, I will like
Good. It's not wrong. So even people who speak all right natively, they say phrasal verbs are sometimes illogical and they don't make sense, and they keep adding particles and particles. Because if you say to start, to begin, it's clear, all right? But it has been used with, all right, that much frequency that is part of the language itself. So it's better if you add that expression, all right, and you say to begin with, all right, or to start with.
to say that battery-powered cars don't pollute the environment as much, and those helping to take care of our planet.
Okay, they don't pollute as much as, I don't get the second part very well.
Battery-powered cars don't pollute the environment as much, and those helping to take care of our planet.
Okay, it's not that clear. It seems at the beginning that you're going to make a comparison, but then I think you're saying they don't pollute as much. But when you use that expression, as much, you need to show me a point of comparison. The next part is not that clear. Can you explain to me the last part, please, after the idea of that they don't pollute that much, Carolina? I don't understand very well.
Yes, teacher. I was going to make a comparison, but then I think that I didn't have the second part, so I connect the idea with those. So that's why it sounds weird. Sorry.
Okay, no, thank you, Carolina. It's good. You're doing that in order to have time for the second part, and it's good, and it's something actually that you should do. Perhaps because of the part in which you realized, right, about the time, it was not the best way of connecting those two ideas, all right, in this case, but what you're explaining is very important, all right? I would have done the same, but again, the moment, and it feels, right, it feels that something else was going to be set, but it was not set, all right? So let's see how it goes later on. Okay, let me do this. But again, also that can be avoided, Carolina. Try to spend a little less time in the introduction. It was very good, but try to omit and try to, let's say, avoid those extra words, those little words that can be used, for example, for this extra explanation of your first benefit, right? Because if you realize it was too short, okay, it was too short to give supporting ideas for the first benefit.
Resource. To begin, I would like to say that battery-powered cars don't pollute the environment as much, and those.
Right. So you mentioned the first one, but actually you didn't get to mention something that was of importance, let's say, besides the fact of polluting. That's very important, but it was too short. And then you connected with the second one, right?
Helping to take care of our planet. Following to that, gasoline is a limited and polluting resource, so in addition to ending up, it harms our environment.
All right. Again, over there, it's good. It feels bad. There is an overuse of some of those connectors. Let me understand that part once again.
In addition to ending up, it harms our environment. In conclusion, I think gasoline.
Okay, there, for example, so you have like 3 of those words and they are too close together. All right, let's the last time to finish.
Is a limited and polluting resource, so in addition.
All right, so you have so, then you have in addition.
To ending up, it harms our environment.
Okay, so I think if you say to end it up or to end up.
Yes. In conclusion,
right, and then in conclusion. So they are too close together. If you realize, it's not bad. It's good that we use these transitional words and phrases and these connectors, but if they are too close together, right, it feels like something is there, right? Something wants to be set, but at the end, because of time, in this case could be, or because of other reasons, they are there and they are being connected, but the connection, when it's too, all right, overused, can be also confusing, right?
I think it's better to use battery power cars.
Okay, and there you go, and it's done. Again, you have very interesting elements as always, Carolina. I think you have also the vocabulary and the knowledge to talk about this kind of topic. The only thing, again, the introduction took too much time, and it didn't give you the chance of expanding more the first kind of benefit. You wanted to go to the second one, which again was very well supported, but something was lacking. And as the transition between the first benefit and the second benefit, it feels that something else, again, right, was going to be there, but it was not possible to set that because of time, or because you were following, of course, this structure. And again, this can be good if you can use this, but in your favor, in the sense that you are organizing time and you're using more time to give the benefits. Okay, that's the intention of this structure of time, to give you more chance, all right, of using that time to say things that are more important. Because if you repeat the option, the choice, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and you fill your answer with words like, because of this reason and that reason, and also this reason and that reason, I mean, those fillers and those, or that idea that was already mentioned, then you're using that time incorrectly, because you could use the time for other kind of information that may support your idea in a better way. All right, so that's in general, Carolina, the time in the introduction, the way you connected the two ideas, the use of the transitional words and connectors at the beginning to give a clearer conclusion and a clear transition between two ideas. I don't know if you have any questions related to that. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And again, this one was because of the time. We're finishing here. I wanted to check at least 2. We worked with 1 and it's good. Please, if you have any more questions related to this structure, let me know. Remember that you need to apply this to your oral presentations in the way I showed you. If you don't have any more questions, please, let's fill out the survey as always, and we're going to finish here. All right, have a good night. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow to have the listening session. And that's it. All right, take care. Bye-bye, girls.
Goodbye, teacher.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye, Estefania.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye, Majo. See you.